I recently went through my journal and in particular my values, and you know what? I wasn't surprised to see they hadn't changed much. Amongst efficiency and achievements, one of my most important value is integrity. Now, the longer I've been in business, the more I've come to realize that integrity is so important to me that I get immediately triggered, or perhaps I should say I get deeply disappointed and frustrated if someone doesn't do what they say they're going to do. It is incomprehensible to me. Especially over the last few months, I've had a number of prospective clients who repeatedly said they were going to do something and then didn't. If I'm perfectly honest with you, and yes, this sounds blunt, I have little time for mediocrity. If I don't receive an apology or a worthy explanation, I have little empathy for people who are slack or simply can't manage their time and workload. However, as someone who always strives to keep an open mind, I did some research on the topic of integrity, and here is what I've learned. If you have a look at the mission, vision, or value statements companies post on their websites, you'll notice that almost every company includes a statement about integrity. And if you Google the following examples, you'll find that many companies use these stock phrases. We combine integrity with excellence. We act with integrity in all we do. We hold honesty and integrity as our guiding principles. These are morally upright statements, don't you think? But have you ever wondered why we need them in the first place? After all, integrity should be the basic building block for doing business. Nobody wants to get involved with a company that lies, cheats, and tricks its customers. Nor do people want to work for a company that is dishonest with their employees. In other words, integrity should be a given without having to mention it. Yet, as I've learned, it's not that simple, and that's for two reasons. The first one is about our innate human ability to rationalize behavior. For example, if you ask high school students whether or not it's right to cheat, most of them will say that cheating is wrong. Yet, research shows that as many as 95% of such students admit to having engaged in some form of cheating. Most of the time, this involves a specific incident where the students had to make a choice. So in hindsight, the students justify the choice as not really cheating or no big deal or something that everyone else does. In other words, they rationalize their situational behavior, and this way they can still consider themselves to be honest. The reality is that all of us, and not just students, face integrity-based choices on a regular basis. Here's an example. Do we tell our customers about the negative impacts of our products? Do we reveal everything to a prospective buyer during due diligence? Is it acceptable to hide certain aspects of our background in a resume? How honest can I really be when giving feedback to my boss? You see, none of these situations have clear answers, and no corporate policy can cover every contingency. So as a result, no matter what choice we make, we can convince ourselves that it was made with integrity. And that leads me to the second reason why integrity is so difficult for some. Everyone defines integrity differently. Falsifying information to one person might be considered an acceptable business practice to another. That's also further exasperated by differences in culture. For example, in some business cultures, people are expected to openly do favors for each other, while in other cultures, those favors would be considered bribes. The power of rationalization and the difficulties of definition reveal integrity as a subject that is neither easy nor simple. That's why solely relying on compliance functions, policies, rules, and audits is usually inadequate. These mechanisms protect us against clearly illegal violations of integrity standards, but they do not deal with the integrity choices that we face every day. These choices require personal judgment. In some ways, the value statements about integrity are meant to remind us that integrity is not just a corporate responsibility, but a personal one as well. If you're a manager, You can apply these values by setting time aside with your team to share integrity dilemmas and choices and discuss the thinking behind individuals' decisions. Make sure these meetings take place in a safe environment where people can openly share their thoughts. If you hold these discussions regularly, you will gradually get beyond the rationalizations and develop more common definitions of what is acceptable and what is not, which is the essence of an integrity culture. Now, if I look at my own definition, to me, integrity is if you say you're going to do something, I expect you to do it. This goes so far that if you tell me you'll call me in 2 minutes, I'll look at my watch and I'll expect a call in 2 minutes. Not in 4, not in 5, but 2, because that's what you've said. And by the way, you can absolutely expect the same from me. So, I'm intrigued to hear from you. What's your experience with making integrity more than just a word in your company's mission statement? How do you demonstrate it? Where do you set clear boundaries? Let's discuss in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Oh, and by the way, if you're finding my videos valuable, I've just put together an exclusive video training. It's for free, so if you want to keep learning and if you'd like to have access to bite-sized content in the form of videos, then click the link in my post.